Hello and welcome back to Fire Sparkle Productions on YouTube. And today we've got the first tutorial for you, which is all about choosing a camera. So it may be that you've already done some filming, perhaps you've used a smartphone, or perhaps you've used a little handy cam, or this, that, or the other, and you've decided that actually you want to carry on doing it, but is that camera the best camera for you? Is it the best camera in your budget? And is it the best camera for what you want to film? So there's some of the things that we're going to cover today, and also give you an idea of some of the cameras that are out there. Obviously, if you look online, you'll see loads of cameras, and chances are, if you've not done a lot of filming, or you're not already into filming, you're not going to know the difference between one or the other apart from the price that you can see online. So we're going to go through a range of options for you. So starting at the bottom, budget-wise, and again, that is going to be one of the deciding factors on what camera you finally choose. It's going to be between your budget, what it's going to be for. You know, there's no point you buying a high-end broadcast camera just for a family holiday, for example, just for little memories, or, you know, for the children or the young people to just have a go with. You're not going to want to be spending thousands on something like that. So yeah, it's all about your budget, what you're going to use it for, and also what quality you want. So obviously you have got the first option, which you may already own, like a handy cam type of thing, that you can pick up from a high street store or online for like £40–50 or so. You know, it will tell you that it's full HD, which it will be. It'll have the 1920 by 1080 pixels, but it's probably not going to be the best quality, and you're not going to expect that for £40 or £50. But if that's what you want, if that works for you, and if that's good enough for you, then perfect. And you can carry on watching the tutorial today so that you can understand a bit more about some of the other camera options. And also you can come back and look at one of our future tutorials that will tell you how to get the most out of the camera that you do have. So we're just going to go through some options today. So at the bottom of the range really is the GoPro. Now, I wouldn't say that a GoPro is the bottom of the range camera. It's just the GoPro that I've got is the lower range. It's the entry level. So it's the Hero. I've got a couple. I've got Hero, and this is the Hero Plus. The difference between the Hero and Hero Plus is that the Hero Plus has Wi-Fi connectivity. So if you download the GoPro app onto your smartphone, you'll be able to see exactly what your GoPro sees before you're recording and also during the recording as well. Limitations, obviously these retail for about £120, or they did when I got this one for the Wi-Fi version. Only limitations with the entry-level GoPros, such as this one, is that the GoPro doesn't come out of its casing, which means that if you're going and filming for extended periods, for example, you want to film all day long, you'll need more than one, or you'll need a power bank, and you'll have to have a break in between filming because you cannot replace the batteries on these. The only part that's interchangeable is the back door. This back door is a full back door, which means that it's completely watertight. And obviously they do have another one that's got a hole in it. And all that does is just let some more audio in, because obviously the microphone is inside this external casing. The audio is not great either way, but then GoPros weren't designed for amazing audio. If you go up the range and get a higher end GoPro, you can always attach an external microphone. There is options to attach an external microphone. What are they good for? Obviously brilliant for action camera, as an action camera. You can mount them to a surfboard, you can mount them to boats, just about anything, bikes, motorbikes, race cars, the lot. They're resilient. I've got 2 children. You could probably drive a car over it. I can give these to my children and know that they're going to be fine. I know they're not going to have issues, and I know it will come back at the end of the day and it will still be working no matter what. So yeah, the GoPro is obviously is a great little tool. We've also used them. I've used them for vlogging as well. It worked. So yeah, and again, when I was out doing vlogging for family holidays, it didn't matter if the kids wanted to have a go because I knew it was going to come back. If you do opt for a GoPro, and so they are versatile. If you've got children and your children want to be involved in making videos, they are a great option. One of the things that I got was the three-way mount, which is an official GoPro one. I think it's around £50 here in the UK. So it will extend out as a selfie stick, and the GoPro just attaches onto the top with one of the normal thumb screws. So you can manipulate it in various different ways. the bottom you can actually unscrew, turn it round and screw it back in. I'm sure you've probably seen these online. And then you've got 3 miniature little legs that you can sit out as a tripod. So it's a great little feature. If you want to get a nice shot on the beach or on a path, you're out for the day walking, you can run ahead, set this up, go back to join your family, and then get a nice stage shot of yourselves walking past the camera, just as a little cutaway. So it is an option. The thing I really love about this is, I don't know if you can see it from where the camera is, but there is a tiny little blue button on it. And all that does is it stops you. Without pushing that button, you can't close it completely. So if children are using it, they can't trap their fingers in it, and you just need to push the button down. So the GoPro is one of the options, one of the entry-level options. I say it is limited, but it's great if you're on a tight budget. If you don't want to spend much and you want something that's resilient for young people and yourselves, if you want to throw it around, if you're into extreme sports, obviously you can get various helmet mounts as well for skiing or anything like that. Next stage up really that I've got and that I use is the Osmo. Now, this is in a base plate at the moment. This is the Osmo Plus. There is an Osmo mobile version, which then uses your camera on your mobile phone. And it essentially acts as a steadycam. So it doesn't matter, I've not got it powered up at the moment, but whatever you do with a handle, the actual camera itself will stay still. Again, it's great for family days out, family activities, or vlogging and things like that. You can have it on yourself. The only thing I would recommend, again, a lot of inbuilt microphones on these cameras are nigh on useless. They will pick up audio, but the audio quality is poor. And you want decent audio. If you're doing video, if you're paying out for a camera, you want good quality audio. So what have I done for the Osmo Plus? Well, Rode, which are a very well-known brand for microphones, have produced the Video Micro. And I've just got the adapter here. So this essentially just clips on to the frame on this one where you house your mobile, and it just plugs in, he says, just on the front there, and we can just tuck that cable through there. So this will then give you an external microphone, and you'll get really good audio quality from that. As I say, Rode are one of the top entry-level microphones. They do some very good ones, and their budget goes up and up and up, the same with anything. But I think these retail for about £50. Osmo Plus, I think was around $699 when I bought it. As I say, I've got some great shots. If you're into motorsports, I've used it a lot for motorsports. I've used it for days out with the family. So they are a versatile camera. But again, they've got their limitations. It all depends on what you want to use it for and whether it's going to be the right camera for you. If you're paying £699 and you've not done much filming before, is it the right camera for you? It's not set up for if you want to make short films, I'd suggest it's not the right camera for you. It'll be great for a few shots, but not for the entire thing. Next up, we've got digital SLR. I shoot Nikon. I've done photography for a few years now. This will shoot full high definition as well. And I should say, actually, the Osmo Plus does 4K as well, which is a nice feature. And so do the higher end GoPros. But digital SLRs are becoming increasingly popular. So obviously you've got the photography side, but they do film in full high definition. And I know that there's been some feature films where some odd parts of it have been shot on the digital SLR. So what are the benefits of digital SLR? Obviously, not only have you got the fact that you can film on it and you can do still photography, so it's kind of a two-in-one in that sense. Obviously, you can adapt all your lenses. You can change lenses, find different lenses for different shooting styles, for different filming. So they are a great option. Obviously, you can use it on full manual for filming, and that way you're going to learn what we call the proper way for filming, really. Obviously, you can have everything set to full auto, as you can with pretty much all of these cameras, bar this one that we'll get to shortly. But you're not going to get the most out of it. Getting the most out of it, you want to use it in full manual control, where you control everything. And don't worry, if you don't know how to use it in full manual at the moment, keep watching my tutorials, and you'll soon find out. We'll go through all of the jargon and everything. So digital SLR, this one was around £1,000. You can pick an entry-level one up for about £400, £500. But it's also worth looking at second-hand. You can look and they'll tell you what the shutter count is, as in how many photos has it taken. A quick Google search will also tell you what the life expectancy is. So some of them are rated to 150, 200,000 shutter actuations. So if it's only done 40,000 or so, you know there's a fair bit of life left in it yet. So yeah, digital SLRs are a great idea. Again, the audio quality, it's got an inbuilt microphone, but I would never want to use that. I'd always put another microphone on top. The microphone I've got on this one, again, this is a Rode microphone, and this just plugs in on a normal jack, the same as you find for headphones. That will plug in onto the digital SLR exactly the same as it would on the Osmo as well. Obviously this is just a bit too big to mount on the Osmo, but this would mount on the hot shoe on the top of the digital SLR with no issues at all. As I say, digital SLR, this one's a mid-range. This was £1,000 when I bought it, and this is 2 or 3 years old now. But you can pick them up cheaper, and you can pick them up second-hand. It's worth a look, even on Facebook groups as well. Moving up price-wise, well, actually around the same price, is this one here. This is a bit different. This is a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera. Blackmagic produce amazing filming cameras, but that's all they do is purely filming. So there's no still images on this at all. You can do still images on the GoPro because you can do time lapses and burst photos. You can do still images on the Osmo. I've never used them for that. I have done an odd time lapse on the GoPro, but not all that often. So yeah, the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera retails around £800 in the UK, brand new. You can pick them up second hand. This one obviously is worth more in that this is an entire rig. So what have we got here? So on the front of it, there's no lens attached at the moment, but we've got a Metabone speed booster. So the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera is a micro 4/3. So this is an adapter so I can use my Nikon camera lenses on this camera. The camera itself looks like a tiny little digital camera, but trust me, the results that you get from it, the images are absolutely beautiful. It films in full ProRes as well, which is great if you want to go on to do color grading afterwards. Very much a cinematic camera. That's why it's the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera. There's no auto functions on it at all. Everything is manual, including the focus. There's no autofocus either. So what else have I got on here? I've got the shoulder rig on here. I've got an external battery pack on here, so I can mount external batteries, third-party ones. They come, the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera comes with little Nikon batteries it uses internally, and they're good for around 15 minutes each. Obviously, if you're filming for a whole day, that's of no use to you at all. I film a lot of theatre and use this for theatre. I can't swap every 15 minutes. An external battery source will keep the camera running for up to 3, 4, 5 hours or so, which is great. I've obviously got a focus wheel as well, so that I can either focus it by holding the lens itself, or I can use the follow focus. Handle grips on the front, and I've also upgraded it with a remote record button so that I don't have to keep pushing on top of the camera. So when I've got this on my shoulder, and obviously I've got my microphone on the top, when I've got this on my shoulder, I can just push the button on my thumb just down here to start and stop recording. I've also got a nice little 7-inch monitor. The camera itself does have a screen, but the screen is tiny, as you would expect because of the size of the camera itself. So I would always recommend, if you're getting one of these, depending on what you're using it for, perhaps get a monitor as well. This is a Lilliput. This was around £150, £180. And they vary in price. You can pick them up cheaper online, depending on which brand you're going for. And again, as I said before, I've got the Rode microphone on there. Actually really impressed with that Rode microphone. I've had audio through other cameras, direct audio in theatre, and the audio that I've chosen afterwards to actually use in the edit has been from this microphone here. It wasn't all that expensive. I'll pop it down in the description, a link to it and the price of it, because I can't remember offhand. So you're looking at £800 for the camera itself, another 200 to 300 for the Metabone speed booster, and then all your shoulder rig, follow focus, something like that. So the money does add up with that. If you're looking to get into doing short films, a setup like this is brilliant. The only other thing you'll probably want for it is a tripod for those nice steady shots. It is quite heavy as a whole rig, so whilst it is on your shoulder, the weight's all on the front. So after 5-10 minutes or so, you do start to feel it in your arms, and you do want to put it down. The only other thing really you'd want is a tripod for it, and lots of SD cards. I use 64 gig SD cards in there. They need to be at least 90 megabytes per second, because otherwise they're not going to be fast enough cards for the quality you're going to be recording. And you've got varying different levels of quality you can record in. You can record in full ProRes, which will chew through a 64 gig card in no time at all, or you can lower the quality down and get a little bit more time out of it. So yeah, that's the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera. Again, I'll link to the Blackmagic website in the description below, and you can check it out and see a whole range of their cameras. It's worth noting that up until this point, as far as I'm aware, no Blackmagic cameras have got any autofocus on them at all. So I was using this for filming motorsport originally, when I first started doing motorsport over 18 months ago. And it was hard work. I don't use autofocus very often, but in a run and gun situation where you're following the action, or you're following a driver down the paddock and into the garage and then straight into the car, autofocus is really handy for things like that. And the last camera we're going to show you today, this is a Canon XF205. This is my go-to camera. This is just short, with VAT included, this is just short of £3,000. I think it comes in around £2,800, including VAT. It's a broadcast quality camera. It's primarily aimed at documentaries. It films at 50 megabytes per second, and it films in 2 different formats. All the rest of these are on SD card or micro SD. This one will record MP4 to a standard SD card, and it also natively records XMF files to compact flash, and it will fit 2 compact flashes in there. So I've got 2 64 gig cards in there, and they'll last me a fair while. A couple of them will do me a fair few hours on and off filming different bits and bobs. This is a great camera. Again, I've added on to this. This is a Rode NTG1 rifle microphone on the top with the dead cat. When I got it, the dead cat came free as a special offer at the time. A dead cat, in case you're wondering, you'll have seen them in news reports and things like that on TV and online and what have you. That just helps to block out any of the extra wind, any wind noise. Really effective in doing so as well. Because otherwise, if you get a load of wind into your microphone, your audio is as good as useless. So yeah, this is a Canon XF205. As I say, it is my go-to camera. They've done the Canon XF100 and 105. They do an XF200. The 200 exactly the same. The only difference being it's only got HDMI out, whereas this one has got what we call SDI out as well. We can do, we've got all sorts of ports in SDI ports here for time code, gen lock, monitors, and the standard SDI out. So if you're looking to expand in the future, and you're looking to do, say, live vision mixing or anything like that, the SDI is something you'll want. The SDI information will carry over a further distance by cable than what HDMI will. HDMI will do good quality up to around 10 meters of cable. Any more than that and you'll start to lose quality and lose signal. SDI, you can go a lot further. So yeah, that's obviously broadcast quality camera. It's not as big as the massive cameras you see on the news, but again, it's what you want and what you want it for and what you're going to pay. So I've used this for motorsport filming, for documentaries. I use it for theatre filming, and this is what I use for all my promo videos for my business clients and theatre clients as well. Absolutely brilliant camera. One of my favourite parts on this that I've not seen on other cameras is the hand grip here. You can also twist it, so it makes it a lot comfier. You're not stuck in that wrist breaking position for hours on end. So it does make it a great camera for that. So they're just some of the options you've got. Obviously, well, just to recap, you've got your little handy cams that you can get, that you can pick up online, you know, from Amazon or any of the high street stores, and you can go into the high street stores like Curry's. You can go in tomorrow, pick one up, so say for £40 or £50, and it will do some nice little videos. Otherwise, we've got GoPros. You can use them for vlogging, just be aware of the audio content. But if you're a family that's into extreme sports or an individual into extreme sports, you can't really go wrong. The Osmo, nice little version of a steadycam. Again, consider buying the extra Rode video microphone to go with it. Digital SLR, again, you'll have seen these around. They're the next step up from a bridge camera if you're meddling in photography at all. And then obviously a cinematic only camera, or the more broadcast documentary type camera. As I say, this will do everything. But if you're just getting started, if you're looking to go and do vlogging, if you're looking to, film family holidays away and theme parks and things like that, you're not going to necessarily want to carry around something of this size. Certainly I'm going away at some point this summer on a family holiday, and I won't be taking this. As much as I love it, it's just too much. I might look at the smaller version, the older version, the XF100 or XF105, which is, I'd say, around a third smaller than this one, or otherwise I'll use my digital SLR. And obviously I've still got GoPros and the Osmo Plus as well. I'll link to all of these down in the description. I hope you've liked this tutorial. I hope you've learned something from it. Please do come back and watch the next one, and please do consider subscribing so that you keep up to date and you see it on your feed when we've got new tutorials out. If you haven't done so already, check out my show reel, which is over here, and also the intro. If you missed that, the intro to our channel that will tell you more about the tutorials, you can check that video out on this side. Thanks very much. We'll see you next time.